A great way to beat the Texas heat is by cooling down to the San Marcos River, but good luck trying to cool down the reigning WPF champion Texas Smoke. Off the heels of a series opening 11-0 run rule victory, the champs are playing for their 6th win in a row as they face off against the Hub City Adelitas in Game 2 of this 4-game series. Coming to you on the official WPF YouTube channel, Brant Freeman alongside Bill Colhane. Get a dominant win for the Smoke last night, Bill. They're looking the part right now of the reigning champs.
Yeah, and in the win yesterday, how appropriate was it that somebody by the name of Jefferson, specifically Janae Jefferson, authored a big piece of the win for Smoke City. Meanwhile, the Adelitas simply couldn't get the offense going against a very good pitching performance by Samantha Shao.
Yeah, Shao, 5 scoreless innings, giving up just 4 hits, struck out 4. She's now 3-0 in this ballpark this season. A couple of wins against the Monarchs and the win last night over the Adelitas. As we see tonight, starting pitcher, take the circle. It is Autumn Pease, the reigning WPF Pitcher of the Year, hailing from Marietta, California, in her 2nd season with the Smoke, a former Minnesota Golden Gopher, and last year the 10th overall pick in the WPF draft. As we look now, the Adelitas batting order again led off by Sarah Bryan, should be followed by Destiny Brown and Daisy Munoz here in the 1st inning. It's an offense that has really struggled over the past 3 games.
It sure has, and quite honestly, the Adelitas have gone up against some really good pitching, but we also know that the formula for Hub City doesn't change regardless of who's in the circle, where Bryan and Brown have to be the table setters, but then the middle of this batting order for Hub City, they've got to come up with the big hit at the big moment. It's something that the Adelitas have been missing for the past couple of weekends.
The shutout last night, the 2nd straight shutout loss for the Adelitas. Now over the past 3 games, this offense for head coach Jamie Juarez has scored just once with 15 runners left on base, and really the number that stands out the most, batting with runners in scoring position. Last 3 games, 0 for 9. You go back to the beginning of the Monarch series last week, a 5-game stretch, 3 for 28.
Yeah, that just simply won't win you ball games. You've got to find a way to pass the baton for sure, but you've got to come up with the big hits. And another issue the Adelitas have had is they don't have a lot of pop, meaning they're not getting a lot of extra bases.
This game is underway with a strike pumped in by Autumn Pease facing Sierra Bryan.
When you think about what Smoke City did last night, conversely, just in terms of extra base hits, there was a huge disparity.
Yeah, you look at the hit disparity, 10-4 in favor of the Smoke. Adelitas had just the 1 extra base hit. Meanwhile, the Smoke at the plate, 3 doubles and a couple of homers last night.
Yeah, and the 1 extra base hit that Hub City had resulted in an out, where Brown was thrown out at home plate on a tremendous and exquisite relay play by the Smoke.
A take from Bryan. And the count of 1-2 strikes with the win. Last night, the Smoke have now extended the league's longest winning streak to 5 in a row. And 3 of those 5 wins have been run rule victories.
You know, Brant, you and I have spent the last few minutes kind of setting the scene for tonight's game. And we talked about it a couple of times last night at the end of the contest, that the Adelitas went to bed at their respective hotels last night, and they gained 11 runs. It's a brand new ball game.
It is. The expansion Hub City Adelitas facing the reigning champion Texas Smoke. A 2 strikes, and Bryan fights it off. During this winning streak for the Smoke, taking a magnifying glass further to this hot streak of theirs, they've outscored the opposition 41-10. And kind of a milestone win, too, for Kat Tarvin's team. Last night, the first shutout victory of the season for the champions.
Yeah, everything the Smoke did last night was golden. Whether it be defense, offense, running the bases. Already mentioned the great play defensively on the relay from right field to home to get Bryan out at the plate trying to score.
Bryan was over 2 in the opener with a walk. Coming off her big series against the Monarchs last week. Good battle here between she and Autumn Pease.
Autumn Pease, among her accolades, and you went through a bunch of them, but after transferring to the Twin Cities to play for Minnesota, ended up the Big Ten Pitcher of the Year, California native.
Also a second-team All-American.
So that's who you bring in to pitch the second game of the series.
Yeah. We discussed the pitching depth of the Smoke last night. You know, Samantha Shaw has been phenomenal, arguably the Smoke's best pitcher 2+ weeks into the year. You know, but after her, you have a pitcher like Pease, Jayla Wright, the ACC Pitcher of the Year at Duke this year, the Sunbelt Pitcher of the Year, and Jessica Mullins as well. Swing and a miss. Swing and a miss to the strikeout starts the game.
Yeah, sorry, their partner, but yeah, then you have somebody like Check for Texas. Her team, of course, was in the College World Series a few weeks ago, and the list goes on. A lot of options for the Texas Smoke.
Just get a shot there of Samantha Shaw. Shaw, 5 scoreless innings last night, got the win. In this ballpark, her record 3-0, 21 innings pitched, just 2 earned runs given up.
Gives her team a chance to win, clearly.
And you think about that, pitching from Shaw, and with this Smoke offense of theirs on top of that, it's gotten really, really difficult to beat this team when she's in the circle. Nobody on. What away for Destiny Brown. Brown, one of the few Adelita hitters that was productive last night. Brown finished the game with a couple of hits to include a double. It was on twice.
There's a lot made about recruiting, of course, in softball, lacrosse, college athletics, and Pease, an interesting story. Out of Murrieta, as you mentioned, which is located between LA and San Diego, and she began her career at Idaho State because Idaho State, one of the only programs that recruited her. And lo and behold, fast forward a few years, and look what she did at Minnesota and what she's doing now.
Swing and a miss. Another good changeup from Pease. And the Cats 2 balls and 2 strikes. A couple of players that have played softball in the Great Northwest. Peyton Lopez, Portland State. Mentioned Brown starting her career with the Bengals of Idaho State. And a strikeout for Pease. That's her second straight. And against arguably the top 2 hitters in this Adelitas lineup.
Big Sky is well represented in the Women's Professional Fast Pitch League. Like a lot of these players, like all of us, right? Well, Pease has a favorite major league team, and even though she's down in the LA, San Diego area, her favorite team, the Oakland A's.
I thought you were going to say the Orioles because you wanted to sneak that in. Daisy Munoz looks at strike 1.
That's for later.
The Oakland A's for now. Next year, or next 2 years, the Sacramento A's, and then finally the Vegas A's.
Yeah, Pease tells the story of how her parents, always supportive, would drive her up to Oakland to see her A's play. And those of you who know the geography, from Murrieta, California up to Oakland is not exactly a trip around the corner.
No. SoCal to NorCal.
Precisely. She's a Sonny Gray fan, right-handed pitcher.
0-2. Fouled away. Well, what a bizarre set of circumstances that's going to be for the Oakland A's the next 2 years playing in a minor league ballpark in Sacramento when the River Cats, I think is their name, are not in town. You know, and you go from playing at a stadium that can seat, albeit doesn't really fill, 40,000 fans, to one that'll seat maybe 4.
From what I understand, because I have some friends who live out in Las Vegas, that area, Henderson, not far from there. But anyway, all reports are that ultimately the stadium that the Las Vegas A's end up with is going to be a Jewel. A relatively small stadium. I think they told me 42,000 that place will hold. It's not going to be, mammoth sized.
Munoz goes around at a 1-2-3 first inning for Pease, striking out the side. So with the 3 strikeouts, we go to the bottom of the first inning. Smoke coming to bat for the first time after Autumn Pease records punch-outs of Bryan, Brown, and Munoz. You're watching Women's Pro Fast Pitch on the official WPF YouTube channel. From San Marcos, we're back after this. Getting the start tonight for the Adelitas is Lexi Hanley out of Ohio State. Was with the Buckeyes for 1 year, 3 years before that with Auburn, and began her career at Akron. She's in the circle tonight, making her first start of the series and trying to get a handle on this Smoke lineup. 11 runs on the board last night in just 4 innings at the plate for this Texas Smoke offense, led off again by today Jefferson. We'll also see Silent Rain Espinoza bat second in this inning, and then Savannah Jaquish as well. So yes, the offense last night, 11 runs, courtesy of 10 hits, 3 doubles, a couple of home runs, all in just 4 innings of work last night.
Yeah, and consistent, right? The Smoke 4 in the first, 3 in the second, 2 in the third, 2 in the fourth. Everybody drive home safely.
Mentioned the home runs, both came with runners on. It was Jazz Hill, a 3-run homer in the first inning. Samantha Shaw with a 2-run shot of the 4. So of the 11 runs scored, 5, courtesy of the long ball with the Smoke last night. They homered in this ballpark 4 times opening week against the Monarchs.
Hanley, and it's easier said than done, is going to have to make sure that she makes the Smoke earn anything and everything. Can't afford free passes. Defense has to be on lockdown.
We talked about hitters 1 through 3, 4, 5, and 6 in the order for the Smoke. Charlotte Eccles, Morgan Howe, and Jazz Hill. Hitters 7 through 9, Jada Cody, Maddie Grimm, and Anna Marie Bruning.
Jefferson got behind in the count a couple of times last night, did not phase her.
Ground ball up the middle and a base hit for Jefferson. So she's had 4 plate appearances in the series, 4 for 4. And a base hit starts her evening here in Game 2 of the series.
Yeah, and immediately puts pressure on the defense. And Hanley in the circle, right? The way Jefferson can run. Obviously, Espinoza can handle the bat. In at the corners are the Adelitas.
Espinoza takes one up for ball 1. Every hitter in the lineup last night either scored or drove in a run. They scored in all 4 innings as well, the Smoke did. Put up 4 runs in the first, 3 in the second, 2 in each the third and fourth innings.
Yep, everybody drive home safely.
2-0 to Espinoza. Last night's opener, 0 for 2 with the walk and a run scored.
Espinoza not showing bunt, so at least at the moment, Flores at third moves back a couple of steps.
Speaking of the Great Northwest, Espinoza played her college softball in Seattle at the University of Washington, a former Husky. Helped lead that program to the World Series last year.
And I heard you mention last night also Native American. It's Espinoza. Aspen Wesley for the Monarchs is also Native American.
Ground ball to the right side, and that's through for a hit under the glove of Bracamonte. On her way to third is Jefferson. Runners in the corners after a couple of base hits here for the Smoke. Early pressure against Hanley here in the bottom of the first inning.
Talk about being in no man's land. Bracamonte, the second baseman, had to give ground, had to establish an angle to try to cut that ball off. But anytime you retreat as an infielder, as that ball bounces, it's going to speed up. And not much the second baseman for Hub City could do in that play.
2 on, nobody out for Savannah Jaquish. Hitless last night, but also walked and scored. Another player from California, out of Highland, California, although she played her college softball in the SEC at LSU.
See if Espinosa's going here, but Hub City would love a ground ball at either second baseman or shortstop. Concede the run, try to get a couple of outs.
Runner goes for second. Espinosa's there without a throw. So still on the base is good for the second of the series for the Smoke. Last night, starting pitcher for the Adelitas, Chloe Temples, pitched so well against the Monarchs last week, but last night against this lineup, tough outing. 7 earned runs given up in just an inning and a third.
Past 2 seasons, the Smoke have done that to a lot of people.
This team had the best record in the regular season last year, 22-14. And also won the championship final series as well. And what was their inaugural season, now in year 2 in the league.
I think the Smoke would admit it wasn't a cakewalk to the championship last year. As a matter of fact, in the first round, we're down no games to 1 and won the final 2. And then in the championship series, championship game was a 1-run game, 2 out of 3. So it was a team that was kind of forged by fire, and here in 2024 have kept right on going.
Two from Hanley. 2 on, nobody out. And that is lined to the shortstop, Brocky. A hard hit out, the first out of the inning. And Jaquish retired, and that's going to bring up Charlotte Eccles.
Boy, Hanley will take that. Looking for something to go Hub City's way in the early going, and a line drive that ends up in a glove is a good answer.
So again, last year, the Smoke and expansion team, and there were some established franchises in the WPF to include the USSSA Pride. As Eccles comes up and looks at a strike as 0-1. So they know what it's kind of like to be, Hub City, Monarchs, the tidal wave, new to the league and trying to find your footing. As you said, last year, 22-14, a pretty good record your first year, but some bumps along the way.
It was Jerry Glasgow's Vipers that almost took the Smoke out in the first round of the playoffs.
Here's a fly ball to right. Perry going back, shy of the warning track, makes the catch. Jefferson's going to tag and score, and it is 1-0. Charlotte Eccles with the sac fly puts a Smoke on top early.
Just got under it, just missed it, did Eccles. Eccles last night, a couple of ribbies, and gets the party started tonight.
So Eccles into the dugout, third RBI of the series, and it brings up Morgan Howe. The WPF's Offensive Player of the Year back in 2023. This team just about swept all the major awards last year. Howe, the Offensive Player of the Year. Jefferson, who just scored the Player of the Year. The Pitcher of the Year, Autumn Pease in the circle tonight. And the Smoke also had the Coaching Staff of the Year.
Howe 0 for 3 last night, and as the game went along, we commented, Brant, that the Smoke scored 11 runs with Howe going 0 for. Tells you what kind of lineup they have.
Bottom part of the order was really good. Jefferson did her job as table setter at the top of the order as well. If you're the opposing pitcher, Again, not easy to find any holes in the lineup, and you need multiple players to have off nights, not just one. Espinosa at third base, 2 outs in the inning, and time is called by Howe.
We've seen one pitcher slow down this offense. That was Vickers for the Monarchs in the series finale a couple of weekends ago.
That's in there for strike, 2-1. Emphatic strike call from our plate umpire, Eric Jones. Jazz Hill awaits on deck. Adelitas trying to end a couple of streaks tonight, their own 5-game skid and the Smokes' current 5-game winning streak. In an early 1-0 hole. Swing and a miss. Good pitch on the rise ball, 2-2.
Yeah, if you're the batter, that pitch looks beautiful. Looks like it's right there in your hitting zone coming to the plate, and you just can't get on top of it. At times against the Monarchs last weekend, Hanley appeared to have electric stuff.
Here's a chopper that's going to sneak through for a base hit. Howe with the first hit of the series brings home Espinosa. Another crooked number inning for the Smoke. Their 5th straight against the Adelitas.
That's a veteran approach there. Hit by Howe. Took it right back up the middle, right back where it came from. Didn't try to do too much with it. Didn't even look like a full swing. Still got the job done.
And the inning extends now to Jazz Hill, who had a first-inning home run last night. The former Texas A&M Aggie. Before that, at Arizona State's. All 5 college seasons, or 4 of the 5, rather, played for Tricia Ford, who was the head coach for the Sun Devils and now currently with the Aggies.
Like we saw Hill do for the Aggies this past season, and we've seen so far here in the WPF. Hill, if you make a mistake, she's going to ambush it.
Couple of homers for Hill in this ballpark. A grand slam against the Monarchs week 1. And that 3-run shot last night.
What do you think of these Smoke uniforms? You get a really good look at it there. There you go.
First, we've seen these.
Yeah.
Opening week, they wore their black pinstripes all 4 games. Last night went with the all-red look, which they wore a lot last year. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Checking the Instagram page during their series last week against Coastal Bend, didn't see these uniforms, so I believe the first time they've worn these.
Yeah, that neon green outline. I like them.
I have to think the all-white is temperature friendly as well.
Our umpires are in the all blacks tonight. I think I'd have to talk to my crewmates.
Hill with a fly ball to right. That is a fair ball. Bounces inside the line. Over to third base is Howe. Hill with a double. A 2-bagger for Jazz Hill, who now has 3 hits in the series.
That one might have kicked up some chalk down in that right field corner. I will say this. Perry did a tremendous job of getting the ball out of the corner and getting it back in, because you know with 2 away, Hal, when she's arriving at third, her designs are come in and score.
Again, the home run last night, pull side. This one, as Bill said, opposite away power. Good for a 2-out double. The Smoke had a couple of 2-out hits last night. Already 2 here in this first inning is Jada Cody, making her first appearance in the series, takes a strike. Another player from Murrieta, California.
California, you and I have had the conversation. So much great prep softball in that area.
Just got done playing collegiately at UCF, one of the great players in Golden Knights history. The Knights' all-time leader in doubles, second in program history. and homers and RBIs as well.
You take the LA metro area, and of course you want to include Norco in that. You could put together many a Division I softball team just with the talent in that area.
Yeah, look at this roster for the Smoke, and I see a lot of players from California, a few from Texas, and a couple from Pennsylvania.
Yeah, look at college softball, particularly the premier programs. Many Division I coaches spend time out there in California looking for student athletes.
And that ball just got away from Lopez, but the runners hold at second and third respectively. And the count runs to 3-1. Again, game 2 of the series. The Smoke won last night in a run rule 11-0. They've already staked an early lead here in game 2.
And it was so systematic, wasn't it? It wasn't that 9-run inning. You and I have detailed the runs per inning.
A walk for Cody, and a wild pitch gets away, allows Howe to score. Now 3-0 Smoke on top. You know, I would say death by 1,000 paper cuts, but really it was a lot of everything, you know, for the Smoke last night. And again tonight, you know, going base to base, but then getting those big extra base hits. This team can beat you in a lot of different ways.
Well, you said that, partner, and everybody in the WPF, everybody following the WPF, you've seen it here in the first few weekends on full display. Fans continuing to file in here, and I'm sure some are looking up at the scoreboard going, 3-0. That's what the Smoke does.
That's what they did last night. Put up a crooked number the first inning. Meeting in the circle with the infield along with Lexi Hanley. As Maddie Grimm now comes up here after the walk to Cody.
And remember what we said about the Adelitas, the formula for success tonight, any game of this series, can't issue free passes and have to make the Smoke earn each base. And just a moment ago, the Smoke scoring a wild pitch.
Grimm takes ball one last night. Maddie Grimm walked a couple of times and also scored twice. One of those players hailing from PA, Stallstown, Pennsylvania. Runners in the corners here. Last night, the Smoke with runners in scoring position 6 for 13. That is a healthy average. 2 balls and no strikes.
And with the way Grimm plays shortstop, anything that she can add offensively is a bonus, is a plus. And she more than provides for the offense.
Two-0 to Grimm. Swung on towards center. Bryant on the run. Did she make the catch? She did not. That hit the turf. That is a fair ball, not caught. And that's going to bring home Hill and Cody. 2 more runs score. It is 5-0.
Lyndon Batiste is the umpire out with the call there, and not sure what kind of a look we're going to get it. Brian thought she got the glove under it. Let's see, Brent, you make the call.
Live, I thought she did catch it, but did she try to trap it? Let's see here. Boy, I see a lot of leather. Didn't really see a lot of turf there. But again, Lyndon Baptiste, the one that had the look at it and the call. And it counts for a hit. 5-0. There's 2 runs score on that. And now the 9th batter of the inning comes up, Anna Marie Bruni. And boy, if you're the Adelitas, we talked about this last night. You're playing a team like the Smoke. You just need some breaks to go your way, and it doesn't go the way there.
I wonder if Lyndon Batiste saw the snow cone, saw the ball kind of squirt towards the end of the glove for Brian, and maybe that's what threw him off a little bit. Think about the Adelitas here. They were 1 pitch away, was Hub City, from getting out of the inning, only having given up 2 runs, and that's when Howe had her RBI single with 2 strikes on her RBI single up the middle, and since then, a couple of more runs added on. The margin for error against this team is just, it's so minuscule.
And now if you're Hub City, you're already an offense that's having a really hard time scoring. You dug yourselves a 5-0 hole early. If you're an Adelita batter moving forward, you might feel like you're pressing a bit. I got to get on base. We have to answer. We have to respond. And you dig yourself an early hole like this against a team like the Smoke. Again, it just makes life extremely difficult.
Yeah, I checked the rule book. There's no such thing as a 5-run home run. But that's kind of the mindset that, you're right, Brant, could take over in Hub City's dugout. And you just can't be successful that way.
And Bruni takes a ball low. I think the Adelitas thought it was a strikeout, a very delayed response. As you just saw Grimm swipe third. There was no throw from Lopez. An extra base over to third base now, Grimm. A base hit scores her now easily.
The only reason Grimm was able to make that play is she got a tremendous secondary lead. And once she sensed that the Adelitas were the timing was off, she was off to the races. That was heads-up play.
Earlier saw Liv Gray tossing in the bullpen for the Adelitas. She's not there now. But I wonder if she's warm enough and in the dugout where if the inning extends even further, that Jamie Wars makes a change and takes out Hanley.
You haven't given your weather report, but I'm going to say it wouldn't take long to, quote, warm up, right?
97 degrees. Ground ball to the right side. That's through for another hit. Coming over to score is Grimm. And oh my goodness, this lineup is just so dangerous. Batters 1 through 9. A 6th spot so far in the first inning, and now the Smoke have batted around.
Well, again, Bracamonte, the second baseman, not much she could do there because she has to create a little bit of an angle to her left to get to the ball. But, as you move back as an infielder, as you give ground, that ball is going to speed up. It's only going to get faster.
And Bruni takes off for second, another stolen base. That is the third of the inning here for the Smoke. So, speed, power, average, lineup has it all.
Yeah, and even though they're up big early, the Smoke, they only know one speed, right? That's going 100 miles an hour. Playing the game the way you're supposed to play it.
One ball, one strike for Jefferson. Single is scored earlier in the inning. And remember, 11-0 last night, but only 4 innings in which the Smoke batted. That means in 5 innings now, they've scored 17 runs.
And the pitching and defense has backed it up.
2-1 to Jefferson. Talked about her story last night. Jefferson, great college player, as everybody here is, but in her case at the University of Texas. Also represents Team USA and was with the national team last week in Oklahoma City. Was not with the Smoke in the 4-game sweep at Coastal Bend. Fly ball to center. Bryan going back into the shadows of the stadium. Can't make the catch. That's off the wall. Jefferson on her way to third with a triple. Routing third. Coming home. Jefferson in a rundown. Gets away from the catcher and scores. Inside the park home run, Janae Jefferson. And what a juke move. Able to evade Peyton Lopez. 8-0 Smoke.
There is a lot to unpack on that play. First of all, another tremendous at-bat for Jefferson. But look at the effort by Bryan, who senses that the wall is there, reaches up with her hand to kind of feel for it. But look at that. We just caught a glimpse of Brocky, the shortstop, is the one who retreats into the outfield to throw it in, and then Sugar Ray Leonard would be proud of that move.
Wow.
That looks like you on the dance floor, Brant.
Oh, my goodness. What a great juke move that was. You see receivers do that to get open in the NFL. For Jefferson, it leads to an inside-the-park home run. A true-run homer for her. She now has, or is close to, a series cycle. She's 5 for 5 of the series. Couple of doubles, a homer now, 5 RBI.
How about Jared Arrington? I said a lot to unpack. Jared Arrington, our home plate umpire, what a great job by him in not giving up on the play, making sure that he maintained his angle so that he could see tag or no tag.
One ball, one strike to Espinosa. 10th batter of the inning.
And Hanley, and now we're talking 20 minutes ago, Hanley was one pitch away from having only given up 2 runs in this inning. And Howe, a seeing eye single up the middle, and here we go, the merry-go-round.
Fly ball, left field. Brown looking, it's gone. Opposite field home run, Southern Rain Espinosa, back-to-back jacks for the Smoke. 9-0 on top of the Adelitas.
There was nothing silent about that. Opposite field, took that pitch. It looked like it was on the outside third, elevated. And Espinosa knew what to do with it.
And that's it for Hanley. Liv Gray, who we said earlier was tossing in the bullpen, warmed and ready to go. Hanley cannot escape the first inning for the Adelitas after Espinosa takes her deep for a solo homer, making it 9-0. As Bill said, the Charla Eccles sac fly was the second out of the inning.
Yeah.
Now Eccles is in the on deck circle now. Okay. At the time of the sac fly, it was 2-0. Since then, Morgan Howe, RBI single. Jazz Hill, opposite field double. Jada Cody, a walk. Wild pitch brought in another run. Maddie Grimm, a 2-run double. Anna Marie Bruni, RBI base hit. Today, Jefferson, 2-run inside the park homer. Southern Rain Espinosa, opposite field solo homer, all with 2 outs.
And remember, I'll say it again, Howe had 2 strikes on her. And that's when she got her RBI single. And this half inning has gone so long, and we've all seen it before. But Pease has to go down into the bullpen to stay warm. She's going to go down there and throw.
And I see Lopez talking to Liv Gray, who comes into the game. Again, the 2 former teammates of Portland State. Saw Gray pitch last night, inning in 2/3, gave up a couple of earned runs, so making her second appearance of the series.
Remember when I told you when I arrived at the ballpark, I saw the smoke going through their pregame warmups, and they didn't look like a team that was coming off an 11-0 win. They were locked in.
First pitch from Gray is a strike, and it's 0-1. Jake Wish, one of the 2 outs in this inning, a line out to short. So you think about that. You know, even the one clean out that didn't produce a run was a hard hit shot of the shortstop.
You know, I didn't glance down when this half inning started, but I think we're sneaking up on about 30 minutes. This half inning is gone.
That ball belted but foul. Runs the count to 1-2. You're right. It was a quick top half of the first. 3 straight strikeouts for Autumn Pease. First pitch was at 7:01, and here we are now, a few minutes past the bottom of the hour. Still in the first inning. I mean, the Smoke have almost matched last night's run total, which that was impressive in 4 innings.
Typical of a Smoke game, when they're really going offensively, they're doing it with power, with singles.
And that's off the top of the wall. Jaquish just missed a homer, and now they're going to say did clear. Back-to-back-to-back home runs for the Smoke. Jaquish goes deep, and now 10 on the board in the first inning.
can't wait to see another look at this as the center fielder is now Brown as Brian has moved over to left. As look, Jaquish doesn't even wrap this swing. And oh yeah, it went off one of the poles out there, one of the flag poles, and carrying back. So not only the home runs clearing the fence, but now the Smoke are coming up with trick shots.
My goodness. Yeah, think about the home runs in this inning. Inside the park, opposite field, and off a flagpole. It's a game of horse on a softball field.
Boy, Eccles, she has some pop in that bat herself. Don't you be mistaken.
This is an unbelievable run with 2 outs. Because now the Smoke have batted around with 2 outs. Eccles was the last out of this inning.
And of course, I say of course, but Eccles, her out recorded, drove in a run.
That's out of play. You and I have both seen a lot of games, softball games over the years, many years. And I know we say this, you know, when strange things happen. Boy, never seen that before. I'm going to say it again. I've never seen this before.
I've never seen baseball or softball in person 4 home runs in a row. I've seen 3.
Eccles could make it 4. There was a game last night of the WPF, a team homered back to back to back. It was the Monarchs. And a game against Coastal Bend. We'll talk more about that coming up.
More activity, by the way, in Hub City's bullpen.
That's Adelitas, who started last night's game. And she too had a tough time, or Light, I beg your pardon, not the starter, but was the first reliever out of the pen after the starter Temples, and gave up 2 runs in an inning of work.
Which right now seems like a really good performance.
Ground ball to third, and that will mercifully end the inning. But how about the Texas Smoke? The champs scored 10 runs in the inning. They homered 3 times. Of the 10 runs, 8 scored with 2 outs. All Smoke at the end of 1 here in San Marcos. We head to the top of the second inning, and right now Jamie Juarez, the head coach of the Adelitas, looking for answers. Her team already in a 10-0 hole after getting run rule last night, 11-0. Frustrating half inning for the Adelitas, and the fact that, again, they had the Smoke down to their final out, 2 outs in the inning, and only down 2-0, but then 8-run score, all with 2 outs. And Autumn Pease and her team is on top 10-0 as we start the top of the second inning. Lost in the story of the offense was the fact that Pease pitched so well in the top of the first for the Smoke. 3 up, 3 down, all with strikeouts.
And now Pease has to make that adjustment of, you know, she's not accustomed to sitting in the dugout for 35 minutes, right, after she's gone a half inning. So She'll have to get locked back in.
Peyton Lopez leading off for the Adelitas. Should be followed by McKenna Brocky and Casey Flores. The other series happening in the WPF this week up in Robstown, or down in Robstown, I should say, just outside of Corpus Christi, between Coastal Bend and the Texas Monarchs. Last night, the Tidal Wave won the opener 5-4, snapping the Monarchs' 5-game winning streak, and in the process ending Coastal Bend's 5-game losing streak. Fouled back by Lopez, count remains 1-2. The Tidal Wave jumped on Trinity Slaughterback early, scored 4 runs in the first inning, but the Monarchs, trailing 4-1, talked about this, went back to back to back with homers in the 6th inning. Susie Brookshire, Kelly Torres, and Jada Kearney all hitting homers from the Monarchs to tie the game.
And not necessarily for the Monarchs, the players you would expect to go long. You know, you'd expect like a Sarah Vanderford or a Day to go deep.
Yeah, Brookshire, I don't think had played the first 2 weeks for the Monarchs. Torres, good hitter, but not a power hitter. And for Kearney, good power numbers at Georgia. Got her first pro home run last night.
Yeah, Kearney, kind of a slow start to the 2024 season, so maybe that will get her going. And another bat in that Monarchs lineup.
That ball shot to center. That's a base hit for Lopez. Goes off the glove of Bruni. And Lopez will take second base for the leadoff double. The first hit of the night for the Adelitas.
In the limited time opportunities that we've seen Lopez, she has shown the ability to get the barrel to the ball. That pitch at the knees on the outside third, and well, that's a hard shot there, and Bruni, a little bit of difficulty digging it out.
So, leadoff double. And for Peyton Lopez, second hit of the series, that brings up McKenna Brocky. So that tied the game in the 6th inning. The Monarchs 3 straight homers. Coastal Bend, though, won the game in walk-off fashion in the bottom of the 7th with Tatum and Zaldo scoring on a walk-off fielder's choice to right field. That drops in for a hit. Lopez to third. Base hit Casey Flores. So first and third for the Adelitas. Jamie Ward is looking for her team to respond here, Bill, after a tough first inning. So far, 2 batters in, looking pretty good.
Yeah, Lopez and Brocky starting the inning off. They each had singles in last night's game, an 11-0 win for the Smoke. But what has been the story for the Adelitas, right? Let's hit the rewind button. It's the ability to get the base knock with runners on base, runners in scoring position. The Adelitas scored 7 runs total in the 4-game series against the Monarchs. And it wasn't for lack of runners, base runners.
Like I said, Flores the hit, Brocky the hit. So Brocky at first, Lopez at third. The batter now Flores. That's fouled back for strike 1. So the Monarchs and Tidal Wave playing a doubleheader today. The first game went final about a couple of hours ago, and the Tidal Wave again won in walk-off fashion, beating the Monarchs 6-5, coming back from down 2 runs in the 7th inning to win the game.
And that series is over with impending weather hitting that area.
Still on the base for Brocky. She's at second base now.
As well as the Monarchs played against these Hub City Adelitas, you had the feeling that the Monarchs were taking a lot of momentum down to the coast. And the Tidal Wave, tip of the cap to them, had other ideas.
In there for a strike. Strikeout number 4 for Pease, and 1 away in the inning.
I painted that outside black and froze Flores, the batter.
So that was a wild game earlier today, game 1 of that doubleheader between the Monarchs and Tidal Wave. It was a 3-3 tie in the top of the 7th. Monarchs broke the tie with Torres hitting a 2-run double, giving them a 5-3 lead as Bracamonte fouls it off for strike 1. At the bottom of the 7th, it was Anzaldo again coming through with a 2-run double of her own to tie the game at 5. and for the second consecutive day, scored the walk-off run again on Tate Whitley's RBI single. And so with that coming into this game, the Adelitas alone in fourth place, a game and a half back of Coastal Bend. And with the two losses by the Monarchs, a Smoke now a 3.5 game lead for first place. Bracamonte behind 0-1. Now the count evens, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, I think the 3 expansion teams in the WPF understand the task at hand. The thing you want to do, of course, at this point of the season is at least keep the Smoke within eye shot.
Fouled away by Bracamonte, 1 ball and 2 strikes. I didn't feel the gap was really wide between the Smoke and Monarchs. That first series, if you remember, one of the wins with the Smoke, it took them 13 innings to get it. And a walk-off victory to beat the Monarchs that night. Swing and a miss, strikeout number 5. Bracamonte goes fishing. Now 2 outs. And if you remember, in that game, the Smoke were down to their final out before Espinosa came through with a base hit. So the Monarchs were a pitch away from evening that series. One of the other losses only came by a couple of runs. But man, since then, the Smoke have shown that there is a gap.
Yeah, in terms of games involving the Smoke that you and I have seen to date to this point, this has been the most impressive performance, and we are about 50 minutes in.
To the plate now, Justice Perry. Inning began with a double from Lopez. Brocky a base hit. Both runners still on the bases. For a team that has struggled to cash in. Last 3 games, 15 runners left on. And 0 for 9 with runners in scoring position.
I asked her, and she said the only thing she knows is 8 after 5.
1 ball, 1 strike to Perry. Fouls it back. Count is 1-2. Again, Perry here, the batter from Prior Lake, Minnesota. There's a handful of players around the league that, on top of extending their playing careers to the professional ranks, have gone back to college to coach. In the case of Perry, currently on the staff at Swarthmore College.
Which is in Pennsylvania, no?
I believe so. Swing and a miss. All outs in this game for Pease, strikeouts. Couple of batters reach with base hits, both left on by the Adelitas. And we head to the bottom of the seconds. Autumn Pease, 6 Ks, the offense 10 runs scored. It is all Smoke here in Game 2 of the series. On the official WPF YouTube channel, we're back after this. The Smoke coming up to bat for the second time of this game. With the first inning, they scored 10 runs, highlighted by a back-to-back-to-back home run stretch. Jefferson inside the park, Espinosa opposite field, and this one hit to dead center, or that was Jefferson's inside the park home run, I beg your pardon. Jefferson again, the inside the park home run, driving into batter after that. Espinosa going opposite way for a solo homer, and then Savannah Jaquish to center field off the pole, the flagpole in center. As again, the Smoke banged out 3 straight homers, part of a 10-run first inning for Kat Tarvin's team. Her pitcher, Autumn Pease, 6 strikeouts through 2 innings, and her team is in command in a big way as we go to the bottom of the second in a 10-0 game.
So let's go back to the top of the second real quickly, Brant. Add another tick mark to runners in scoring position and how the Adelitas are just struggling so much in that area right now. You get runners on first and third with nobody out, you feel like you're going to score a run.
Well, even you get a hit with the runner in scoring position. One of the hits in the inning was that single hit by Brocky with Lopez over at second base, but didn't score. You even get a hit with that, but don't cash it in for a run. It's kind of a microcosm of the struggles the Adelitas have gone through early on in the series. That ball is up the middle and a base hit for Howe. That's her second hit of the game. And for the Smoke, already their 10th hit tonight.
And maybe, and with all due respect to Janae Jefferson, maybe the hottest hitter in this batting order right now is Jazz Hill.
And Jazz Hill a double. Opposite field back in the first inning. Had her 3-run homer last night. And takes the ball up, ball 1. Jazz Hill from Norwalk, California. Helped lead the Aggies to the Super Regionals this year against Texas in a phenomenal Super Regional up the road in Austin. Aggies won game 1, had the horns and the ropes in game 2. Texas did come back to win the series. Hill ahead, 2 balls and no strikes. Does have familiarity with this ballpark. The Aggies played the host Texas State Bobcats here back in March. A game the Bobcats won in walk-off fashion. Albeit the Aggies got the revenge by eliminating Texas State from the College Station Regional.
College Station, about 2 hours due east of here, and you mentioned the Aggies knocking Texas State out of that regional. The first game, super competitive between Texas State and Texas A&M. Jessica Mullins, a pitcher for the Smoke, was the ace on that staff for Ricky Woodard's Bobcats. Can't make mistakes to Jazz Hill, middle.
And draws a walk. So Hill's on for the second time. Again, Gray is in the circle right now for the Adelitas, relieving the starter Lexi Handley. And Lexi Handley, a tough line tonight. 2/3 of an inning, her start, 9 runs, all earned off 8 hits. A walk and no strikeouts.
I think up 10-0. Usually you'd say this is a bunt situation, but being up 10-0, I don't know if the Smoke will be bunting here.
I wouldn't think so. Something else, too, I mentioned Handley, just the 1 walk. You think about a 10-run frame, you think there's maybe a lot of walks, errors, kind of opening the door, but that was just a lot of the bats for the Smoke. The 10-run scoring on 9 hits. Fly ball hit out towards left. Bryan, shy of the track, makes the catch for the inning's first out.
Anything off the bat for the Smoke tonight, I don't know about you, partner, but I find myself kind of holding my breath for a moment. Just the way the Smoke have been smacking the ball around here at Bobcat Softball Stadium tonight.
Yeah, 3 homers in the game. They're up to 5 of the series, all in 5+ innings at the plate. Ball 1 to Maddie Grimm.
And in case you're wondering, if you haven't had a look at it yet, but those 3 home runs last half inning for the Smoke, there's just a smidgen of a breeze here tonight. It's not like those things were wind aided.
And there you take a look at the flags out in right field. That slight breeze Bill referenced on this hot Friday night. Game 2 of the series. We have Game 3 tomorrow at 6, the finale Sunday at 1. As Bill said, though, the other series at the Coast in Robstown is already done.
Yeah, Hurricane Beryl impacting that series. And so some might be saying, well, hey, if you knew you weren't going to play the final game of that series and you're going to have a doubleheader, why didn't you try to get the other game in as well? Well, there are travel considerations for all involved.
That pitch misses inside. 3-1 now to Grimm. Told some of her story last night, how she decided to ultimately stay at Kent State with the possibility of moving on to Kentucky. When she first came to the Smoke franchise last year, she'd been out of pro softball for a couple of years. Initially came on as a tryout player. Fly ball to center. Brown going back at the warning track. Can't make that catch. Just missed a home run. Grimm settles for a long single. Played the plates. Howe is out. Lopez able to hang on and make the tag. That's out number 2. And a big infield play there on the assist to home plate.
Yeah, again, like we saw in the bottom of the first inning, it's Brocky, the shortstop. Give her tremendous credit for her effort to get out into center field. Track Brocky. You see her on the left side of your screen as the ball caroms off the wall. Great effort by Brown. Brocky barehands it, turns her left shoulder, and throws a laser to home plate.
Good for the second out. An out runner second to third for Bruni. Fouls it back for strike 1. Not a lot of moments in this series so far for the Adelitas, but that's one of them.
No doubt. And, you know, how the runner at second and Hill over at first, that was a rainbow shot, and Brown appeared to be tracking it well, so they had to kind of hold up.
Nice pitch from Gray. It's 0-2, the Cat to Bruni. And the Adelitas, again, trying to find things to build upon, try to hang a 0 on the scoreboard for the first time in the series. To this point, the Smoke have scored in every inning so far. Anna Marie Bruni, another player from PA, from Schwenksville. Played her college softball at South Florida and Tampa. Part of last year's championship team with the Smoke.
And northwest of Philadelphia, suburb there. We've already established, including Swarthmore College, by the way. It's in, guess where? Swarthmore, Pennsylvania.
See, we knew that. Confidently knew that.
Thank goodness for Googles, right? But, yeah, Pennsylvania. State of Pennsylvania well represented in the WPF.
1-2. Bruni with a fly ball to right. Perry going back. Turns, looks, and that's gone. Or nothing to say, the top of the wall did not quite clear. Bruni settles for a 2-run triple. 12-0 Smoke. Just missed the team's 4th homer of the night.
Talk about, I mentioned a moment ago, the shot by Grimm being a rainbow shot, and Bruni just missed getting that out of here. I think they say hoagie in Pennsylvania, you know, for subs. If Bruni had one more bite of her hoagie, that might have gotten out of here.
I'm still trying to figure out how it didn't, because the way it hit the top of the wall and it kind of bounced back towards the field of play. You know, there's that large light pole out in right center. I'd love to get another look at that. I'm not so sure that wasn't a home run.
Lyndon Baptiste, our first base umpire, got out there and didn't see, not that it necessarily is proof, right? It's not the overwhelming evidence, but you didn't see any reaction from anybody else, including the Smoke players.
But do you think the way the game was played out kind of dictated that?
very well could be the case. Maybe we'll get another look at that coming back or here in a moment. But it's another extra base hit for the Smoke. They are not dinking and dunking.
Well, they have a game cycle now. That's their first triple of the game and of the series.
And here we are in the bottom of the second.
And again, not only have the Smoke scored in every inning, they've scored multiple runs in every inning so far. Not of this game, of the series. Jefferson Lukes is strike one. She's batting for the third time already. Jefferson's series 5 for 5 with a homer, 2 doubles, and 5 RBI.
Just to give you an idea as that ball is out of play, tonight the Smoke have 11 two-out RBIs. Not RBIs. 11 two-out RBIs. That's a boatload.
Well, how many moments have there been for the Adelitas? You get that one pitch, that one play, you're out of this. But you tip your cap to the Smoke. Their two-out approach has been outstanding, to say the least.
Overall hitting for the Smoke so far tonight, 12 for 15 as a team. Stat nerds would have a field day with this box score right now. Hitting 8 for 9 with 2 outs.
Fouled away by Jefferson. It's a tough lineup to strike out. Not a lot of swing and miss stuff. Now, yes, Jaden Vickers solved the Rubik's Cube a couple of weeks ago, but if you remember the night before her 9 strikeout game, there were no strikeouts for the Monarch staff in 13 innings.
58 plate appearances, you're right.
That goes off the glove of Munoz, and she's not going to be able to recover. That'll bring home Bruni, who didn't homer but scores eventually. Another RBI for Jefferson and a 13-0 lead.
And if I'm not mistaken, Jefferson is now 6 for 6 in the series.
With 6 RBI.
With 6 RBI and a partridge in a pear tree. There's no way, even if Munoz comes up with that ground ball cleanly, the way Jefferson runs, great likelihood that Jefferson wins the race to the bag.
Pinch hitter's going to come up here for the Smoke. Espinoza is called back. And this is Elizabeth Mason hitting in her place. Former Florida State Seminole. This is the type of game now, if you're Coach Cat Tarver, to give some players some extra at-bats. In the case of Mason, though, seasoned pro. After wrapping up her career with the Seminoles in 2021. Former national champion at Florida State in 2018. Looks at a strike, it is 0-2. And another player who also is a coach at a college program, Elizabeth Mason, on the staff at UTA, the Mavericks out of the WAC.
Up in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. I'll be up there in a couple of weeks.
Pop up and caught by Flores to end the inning. 3 more runs score for the Smoke, and again, all with 2 outs. They lead by Baker's dozen through 2 innings. It is 13-0 Smoke on top of the Adelitas. How about the start for the reigning WPF Pitcher of the Year, Autumn Pease? Struck out the side of the first inning, all three batters she faced. In the second, a couple of leadoff base hits for Lopez and Brocky, but after that, struck out the side again. Flores, Bracamonte, and Perry. So all 6 outs for Pease so far, strikeouts, and her team is on top 13-0 as we start the third inning.
Yeah, how about that? You think about the way this game has gone. Pease mowing down Adelita hitters at the moment, and that might be a subtitle, a footnote to what we've seen tonight because of what the Smoke have done offensively. I think Pease will take it.
Got a new first baseman and shortstop of the game here for the Smoke. Over at first base is Elizabeth Mason, and the new shortstop is Denver Bryants. So again, with the lead being what it is now for Kat Tarver, a chance to give some other players some opportunities at the plate and in the field with their team on top 13-0.
That's the advantage, another advantage of a team that's winning, right? In that you get a lead like this and you can keep some of your bench players, maybe players who don't start as often, maybe put better that way, but you get them reps, you get them opportunities to keep them sharp.
I believe there's a change in left field as well. Wait to get confirmation on that as Adriana Ramirez bats here. Swing and a miss. She's behind 0-2.
Yeah, that's not Hill in left field. I think that's Mandy Perez.
It is.
Perez, former Arizona Wildcat. If you're the Adelitas, down 13-0, your offense has been struggling. At minimum, Hub City, they want to get some momentum going, right? Start leaning forward in the right direction. Start stringing together good, positive at-bats.
Instead, Ramirez strikes out. So how about Pease? Again, you're trying to, decide which story to tell in this game. Is the offense is at Pease? She's making her case right now. She got 7 strikeouts. Every out she's had has been a punch-out.
Which, if this game was 4-0 or 3-0, I think that would be a huge story. But the way things have gone on the offensive side for the Smoke, you almost have to remind yourself that, oh yeah, Pease has been exceptional.
Starts off Brian with a strike here. Brian, yes, a strikeout victim in her first at-bat. First time the lineup card is flipped over here for the Adelitas. It's already done that for the Smoke 3 times over. Brian, does she go around? No, says Eric Jones at third base.
We've already mentioned that Pease, former Minnesota Gopher there in the Twin Cities. Pease had the honor, the recognition last summer where she threw out first pitch at a Minnesota Twins game. And there's more to that story. Wait for this pitch. You and I, Brant, have seen many a first pitch. Our viewers have seen many a first pitch. Oftentimes, you'll see the person doing the first pitch be at the front of the mound or maybe even between home plate and the front of the mound. Pease got the ball, walks to the rubber, and fires in a bullet.
How about that?
How about that? I've never done a first pitch.
I haven't either.
Would you get on the rubber?
I would like to. I don't know if it'd be the right decision.
That wasn't my question, right? But yeah, so Pease, yeah, she towed the rubber, man, and she threw a bullet in there.
Janae Jefferson, the second baseman for the Smoke, threw out the first pitch at an Astros game not long ago.
Great to see these athletes getting that kind of recognition. Well deserved.
Brian pops up, and for the first time today, a glove is used by a fielder. A catch is made by the new center fielder in the game for the Smoke. Kelly Gooden took the place of Anna Marie Brune.
So basically, if you showed up at the ballpark tonight for the Smoke, good chance you're getting into the game.
So 4 new players in the field for the Smoke here in the third. And now the batter, Destiny Brown. 2 outs, bases empty in the third inning. All Smoke here, a 10-run first inning. If you're just catching up, 8 of the 10 runs scoring with 2 outs, and then 3 more 2-out runs in the second. 1 ball, no strikes, and a swing and a miss by Brown. Autumn Pease, meanwhile, big story of her own to the circle. She has recorded 8 outs, 7 of them strikeouts so far. Kind of reminds me of a baseball performance I saw earlier this year, all the way back in February. Hagen Smith, stud left-hander for the Arkansas Razorbacks. In 6 innings, struck out 17. Do the math. 3 outs per inning. So all but 1 of those outs was a strikeout.
Speaking of Texas natives.
Goes down looking. Brown strikes out for her second time. And that is the 8th K of the game for Autumn Pease. She is dealing tonight. Her offense lighting up the scoreboard. It is all Smoke here in San Marcos. The reigning champs on top of Hub City, 13-0. You're watching Women's Pro Fast Pitch on the official WPF YouTube channel. The Texas Smoke have hit 3 homers in this game, oh so close to a 4th. Anna Marie Bruni in the second inning with a deep drive out to right. I had wondered if the ball had hit the top of the wall and then hit that padding of the light pole and then came back in. You get a look at the replay there. Not definitive. Lyndon Baptiste, our second base umpire, was on top of it. I thought with the way the ball kind of came back into the field of play, it did hit that padding and came back. Was not called as such, and so Bruni had to settle for a 2-run triple.
Yeah, get a look at Bruni there in the dugout as she's been subbed for.
So, Bill, you got a second look at it. Thoughts after seeing it for a second time?
You know, I know that we're obligated. We signed the contracts, and one thing that we said is we would use phrasing like irrefutable evidence. I don't know that I saw anything in that first review that would have compelled me to change the call. But I'm sitting here thinking, understanding physics like you do, you and I are fans of physics, I don't see how that ball could have caromed and come back into the field of play without hitting something beyond the fence.
That's what I thought.
Remember the formulas we used to go through in physics?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But not much argument from the Smoke. The Smoke at that point were up, what, 11-0?
Now, you think about that play. Let's say it's in the 7th inning of a tie game. Then I think you're going to hear a case being made in one of those dugouts.
I think you're correct.
Savannah Jaquish leading off with the Smoke here in the 3rd inning. She'll be followed by Charlotte Eccles and Morgan Howe's spot is due up. We'll see how many starters remain in the game and what is a 13-0 lead for the hosts.
Jaquish, her home run as she trots down to first base. You'll remember she didn't even finish her swing. It wasn't a check swing. I mean, I'm not going to go there, but it's kind of a 3/4 swing, and she was able to drive it out of here to straightaway center.
We do have a new pinch hitter coming up. Talk about starters maybe coming out. Raquel Miller pinch hitting for Charlotte Eccles in the cleanup spot in the order. Swings and misses for strike one. Raquel Miller, first time we are seeing her in what is the Smoke's second trip to San Marcos out of Seal Beach, California. Former Pac-12 player at UCLA. Was the Pac-12's batting champ her freshman year with the Bruins. It stands in here in a 13-0 game.
Jay Quish, who led off the inning with the walk, obviously a catcher. Raquel Miller by trade, a catcher.
Swing and a miss, 1-2. I was reading Kelly Gooden's bio. Raquel Miller, Fayetteville, Georgia, played at King University, a Division II program. She was a second-team All-American at the D2 level in 2022. Did begin her career in the D1 ranks at Grambling. It was the SWAC's Freshman of the Year. Strikes up, and that's the first strikeouts of the game for Adelitas pitching. So the strikeout for Liv Gray, first out of the inning. And that'll bring up another pinch hitter here, Samantha Shao.
Yeah, how about the ability to bring up a batter like Sam Shao to pinch hit? Brandt already talked about what she did last night in the circle, and offensively had the home run.
A terrific two-way player throughout her college career, both Oklahoma State and Texas A&M. 5-inning shutout in the circle last night, and yes, a 2-run homer in the fourth inning as well. Has fallen behind, 0-2, with a big smile across her face for good reason. Team on top, 13-0. Her pitching teammates, Autumn Pease, 8 strikeouts through 3 innings of work. Life is good for a Texas Smoke player right now. That'll take the count to 1-2.
Great waste pitch there. Went with the fastball a little bit outside. Didn't really put Shao in conflict. Gray's had some success going up the ladder. Let's see if she tries to get Shao to chase up.
Out of play behind the plate, no play available there for Peyton Lopez. I referenced Miller from King University. Bill was frantically trying to figure out earlier where Swarthmore College was. Well, King University is in Bristol, Tennessee.
Bristol, Tennessee, and she's an assistant coach, Bluefield State. As you've so well chronicled, Brandt, a number of these athletes also giving back to the game, serving as coaches.
Shao flies out to right, second out of the inning. Ball caught by Justice Perry. And yet another player coming up and batting for the first time, but not her first time of the game, Mandy Perez, who came in defensively in the top of this inning.
Mentioned when the Smoke were in the field, Mandy Perez, former Arizona Wildcat, comes from an athletic family. Her dad, Michael, once upon a time, wrestled at Penn State. We've talked about the Olympics. Michael Perez went on to wrestle in the Olympics.
So just about every positional player has come into the game now for the Smoke on the roster. 2 exceptions, Marta Gasparado and Estelle Check, who's also a two-way player. But beyond those two, yeah, Bill said it, you put the cleats on today, you found a way into the game most likely.
To this point, this has been danger time for Hub City in terms of what the Smoke have done offensively, specifically 2 outs. The Adelitas haven't found a way to get off the field in the first inning, second inning. Here we are in the third.
Well, again, the number you referenced in the last inning was just absurd. The 2-out hitting. for the Smoke. For the game now, 9 for 11. And, of course, the other key category, runners in scoring position. For this game, 7 for 9, and for the series, 13 for 22. You do all that, and, yeah, you're going to put up a lot of runs. In this case, 24 scored in the series already.
Yeah, that'll make your hitting coach smile. Maddie, Perez, she's a veteran. Played for the USSSA Pride all the way back in 17, Athletes Unlimited.
Perez with a 2-out base hit towards the gap. Perry fields it on a slide in the outfield. Is heading over to third base is Jake Wish. So runners in the corners, and the 10th 2-out hit of the game for the Smoke will extend inning now to Jada Cody.
Nose right on the ball there by Perez. It's a really good AB for somebody getting their first at-bat of the series. Last night, and we had a shot of the crowd earlier on a foul ball that went back in the crowd, like we saw last night, a lot of families here. But anyway, as I was leaving the ballpark last night, there were many, many kids and families greeting the players as they came out of the stadium to get autographs, take pictures, those kinds of things. It was great to see the excitement on the faces of the kids as they saw their heroes.
And afterwards, treated to the city's fireworks show as well.
Did you stick around for that?
I did not.
You didn't, okay.
Remember I told you how anybody who's a dog owner has to prep themselves for July 4th. Well, I was in control of my 2 dogs last night, and it was not fun. Outside of play, 1 ball, 1 strike, they will climb all over you, pant like crazy, try to find anywhere to hide. It is a nightmare for your 4-legged friends on July 4th.
Yeah, I told you, our 2 dogs, one of them, Tucker doesn't care. But Toby, he wasn't having any of it. Not a fan.
That ball to left field and another 2-out run scoring for the Smoke. Jake Wish scores. Cody drives her in to make it 14-0. Texas on top.
It's clinical what the Smoke are doing. It hasn't been easy. Let's be honest. Let's be real here. I mean, it hasn't been easy for Hub City to get the first 2 outs of these half innings against this Smoke offense. But the 3rd out has been a mountain to climb.
Bit elusive. It was Brian bats for the first time. And had 1 ball to 2 strikes. Denver Bryant from Albany, Georgia, just helped lead the South Carolina Gamecocks to an NCAA regional. A life from the SEC before South Carolina, time with Auburn, 3 seasons as a Tiger.
Bryant was one of the players out there last night interacting with the fans after the game. See that smile there? It's the same smile she had last night with some of the fans. I worked at Clemson once upon a time, so anytime I hear South Carolina Gamecock, I pause.
Still bad blood for you.
Well, bad blood, I don't know, but
why else would you pause?
I think back the memories of Tiger v. Gamecock. You've always asked me to be open and honest on these telecasts, Brant. I'm not going to stray away from that now.
I don't want you to be a liar. 2-1 as the booth gets awkward here. And the count now, 3 balls, 1 strike. The batter Bryant's hit a game the Smoke have been in command of since the starts. 10-run first inning, 3 in the second, 1 here in the third.
Isn't there a team that when you see them, you pause?
You see red?
You see red. You see red.
Now there's 1. That's inside for a walk. That'll load the bases. Located a little further south of San Marcos. But now the lead runner coming home, and the throw was made. So Mandy Perez continued to run after the walk and thrown out at home, and that's going to end the inning. But the Smoke find a way to score another 2-out run, and with that on top by 14 as we head to the fourth inning. Manny Perez trying to sneak her way home. The Adelitas catch her at the plates. We go to the fourth at a 14-0 affair. Going to the top of the fourth inning, Kat Tarvin's team is very much in control. On top, 14-0. Her pitch from the circle, Autumn Pease. 3 scoreless innings with 8 strikeouts along the way. Again, Kat Tarvin, first year as the head coach of the Smoke franchise. A year ago, the pitching coach. On her staff is Vernon Bland, 3-time SWAC Coach of the Year, Prairie A&M, and also Jessica Jacobson, former pitching coach at UConn, currently a head coach herself at William Patterson University.
You mentioned Coach Bland, and for our viewers out there, of course, Brant and I, we encourage you to come out and see a game in person. You can always put up our YouTube broadcast on your phone, of course, but Coach Bland is the coach who takes the Smoke through infield, outfield in pregame, and I'm telling you, and I've been around the game for quite a while, watching the Smoke take infield and outfield pregame is a sight to behold. The precision. It's good stuff.
And a reason why this team, again, was celebrating with rings a couple of weeks ago. Coming off its championship season from 2023. A lot of the players back. They've since helped reload the roster with some of the departures as well. A team that hasn't just won at this level, but also the collegiate level. 7 of the Smokes players experienced playing in the College World Series in Oklahoma City. A look at Bobcat Softball Stadium, home of the Texas State Bobcats out of the Sun Belt Conference. A team that won the Sun Belt Tournament this year in this ballpark. The second Sun Belt Tournament championship under head coach Ricky Woodard, who eclipsed 800 career wins with the Bobcats this year.
And testimony as far as the popularity of softball in this area. That night, that game, Brant, you and I were here. It was standing room only.
The Bobcats hosting Louisiana, which has been the flag bearer in the Sun Belt for so long. They and the Bobcats, a long-standing softball rivalry, given the fact that 2 programs, arguably the best 2 in the Sun Belt over the last 10-plus years. Munoz, leadoff batter for the Adelitas, grounds it right back to Pease, but over her glove. Jefferson a backhand and a throw to first base, but not in time, and Munoz beats out a base hit.
Talk about a perfectly placed chopper. Munoz, nice job of getting up the line, because Jefferson, you know her ability. Jefferson gets to the ball, and of course, her momentum is taking her away from the first base bag, but was still able to plant and make a throw. Strong throw to first base, but not in time.
A pinch runner into the game now as well after the base hit from Munoz. Jace Marie Fernandez had a pinch run. A role she served quite a bit on this Adelitas team. Look there, Janae Jefferson. Great offensive and defensive player. Just easily one of the best softball players in the country right now. Strike 1 to Lopez. Second batter of the inning. Getting cleaned up today for the Adelitas. Had a double in the seconds. One of the now 3 hits in the game for Hub City.
It's a conversation that you and I can pick up again in the future, but I would think that Jefferson would have to be in the conversation for the 28 Olympic team.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
With the things that she can do, not just in terms of the offense, not just in terms of the defense, but you talk about a multi-tool player, you're looking at it right there, sports fans.
That's why playing in this league important as she continues to develop and stay in playing shape. Lopez fouls off another one. Count runs to 1-2. At first pitch, 97 degrees with the sun now setting here in San Marcos, located in Central Texas. And with the sun setting, a welcome sight for the players and fans. Temperatures dropping slightly into the low 90s now. Lights onto the ballpark on a beautiful Friday night here in the Hill Country. Ground ball to the shortstop, Bryant to Jefferson, and right back to Mason for a 6-4-3 twin killing.
Again, the Adelitas with runners on, just looking to string together some base hits. And Pease, give credit to her. Pitchers pitch, but it doesn't get much better than that in turning a 6-4-3 double play.
Second double play of the series turned by the Smoke. Empties the bases, 2 outs. Now to the plate, McKenna Brocky. Brocky, a hit of her own, a single that came back in the second inning. Now 2 hits in the series. Hailing from a very athletic, softball-rich family, McKenna Brocky, as that's fouled away. Her sister, Courtney Gano, all Pac-12 player at Washington and later also playing for Team USA, and her mom was an All-American player at Cal Poly.
Yeah, you have to believe that she probably had a bat and a ball and a glove in her hand early on in her life. And that's one of the themes that we've seen in the WPF is teammates, former opponents, but then also these players, like mentioned Perez, her dad Mike Perez, Olympic wrestler once upon a time, and Lily Piper for the Monarchs, her aunt was a great two-sport player in college, and so on and so forth. There are many examples out there.
Nice pitch from Pease for strike 2.
Athleticism in my family ended with me.
So it didn't start with you either then. Ground ball to the right side. Jefferson takes care of it. And Pease faces a minimum in the 4th inning. Her defense turns a double play. And we go to the bottom of the 4th. Smoke with a commanding 14-0 lead as we go to the bottom of the inning here in San Marcos. Nothing like some Spice Girls to get the kids going these days, huh? As they're rocking out here at Bobcat Softball Stadium between innings. We head to the bottom of the 4th. And it is 14-0 Smoke on top. Some of those fans there were around when the Spice Girls were actually popular, by the way. Bill knows what I'm talking about.
I do, and I just can't help but thinking how spicy the Smoke's offense has been tonight.
Yeah, I can see your gears turning. How do I turn this into something? And there you go. That's how you worked it in.
Can you name the Spice Girls?
Scary.
Posh
Posh.
Spice?
Yeah.
Did I put you on the spot, partner?
You did, man.
I broke all kinds of TV
Etiquette.
broadcasting etiquette.
Jeez.
Never ask the question unless you know your partner knows the answer.
Our producer just sent me the answers, but that'd be cheating.
That would be cheating, right? So I'm sorry, partner. Mea culpa. That wasn't one of the Spice.
Cumin was one of them, right? Kelly Gooden, swing and a miss. 1 ball, 1 strike. So Gooden, it was her bio I was reading earlier for Raquel Meller. She was the one who started UCLA. Really special year in 2019 with the Bruins as a freshman, won a national championship, first team all Pac-12 that year. Final season a year ago in 2023, hit .365.
Yeah, she played on some really good UCLA teams. UCLA's been, of course, good for a really long time.
Grounded foul for strike 2. And, of course, the Bruins, now official members of the Big Ten.
Yeah. Yeah, think about the new map of college athletics.
You know, felt like there was a lot of publicity and noise about Texas and OU officially joining the SEC a few days ago. And maybe it's because we are in Texas and SEC country, you can call it now. But I don't remember seeing a lot. That's poked through for a base hit for Gooden to lead off the bottom of the 4th inning. I don't recall seeing a lot being made of the other moves. You know, the Pac-12 teams going to the Big Ten, others to the Big 12. Big 12 moves, Colorado, Utah, Arizona, Arizona State. Big Ten departures from the Pac-12 to the Big Ten being Washington, Oregon, UCLA, and USC. I don't recall there being the same level of, again, publicity for those moves. That hits Jefferson hard, right on the back. And she will slowly make her way to first base.
Yeah, not much Jefferson could do to get out of the way of that pitch as it just tracked her into that left-handed batter's box. And incidentally, and this is maybe a roll of the eyes comment like Captain Obvious, but oh gosh, that does not feel good on that shoulder blade. But in terms of what the Smoke have done really, really well offensively so far this weekend, with Gooden's single, 7 out of 8 at-bats, the Smoke have gotten the leadoff batter on.
That's a ground ball to the left side. Jefferson is out at second on the force play. Not an easy play there to make because Jefferson runs so fast. But she's out on her way to the dugout. A fielder's choice. And Mason now at first base with 1 away.
Yeah, nice play there by the shortstop, Rocky, able to stay low, got the ball. Strong, accurate throw to the second base bag. Watch this again. Watch that right foot of the shortstop, how she plants it. Boom. Very nice.
Now submitted Jake Wish, 1 for 2 with a homer to center. Again, the Smoke hitting back-to-back-to-back home runs in the first inning. Jake Wish, the final of those 3. Doing so off the pole.
Reminder to our viewers, the Saturday game of this series, meaning tomorrow night, move things up an hour, 6 p.m. first pitch. Then the finale on Sunday, 1 o'clock. That's Central.
Yeah, we've said that qualifier a few times when promoting the upcoming games and broadcasts, although all 4 teams play in Texas. However, as we've chronicled, a lot of these players from California, others from Pennsylvania, Florida, etc., the time zones are different for the viewing audience, so yes, important to note that. That's high for a walk, so Jaquish a free ticket for the second time of the game. And that'll load the bases up with one out in the fourth inning.
And you and I, of course, have talked about it in production meetings and just in general conversation. I think, I speak for you, myself, our entire team, very impressed and happy with how broad the audience is. We know there are so many softball fans out there, but the response that we've received from the viewers, from the fans who want to see, as you look at the screen here, want to see their favorite players carry on their careers from the college ranks. And of course, some of our viewers, we understand this, you've been following some of these athletes since they played as itty bitties, high school, and so on.
That's popped up by Miller. And the catch is made at first base by Munoz. I think that is the first time in the history of broadcasting anybody has ever said the phrase itty bitties.
The littles, the little kids.
Yeah, that I've heard.
T-ball and coach pitch. Brant, 2 down, partner. Put on your seatbelt. The Adelitas getting the third out tonight has been tough.
Shao takes a strike.
This will be the second time that Shao has faced Gray since Shao came into the game, into the batting order.
Of the 9 hitters in the lineup to start the game, 6 of them out now with the smoke. 1 ball, 1 strike to Shao.
It's to be seen, right? Tomorrow's a new day, but how much will that help to smoke their lineup, their players, in terms of getting ready for tomorrow to recharge the batteries?
That ball headed towards left field, and that's going to be caught. Sierra Bryant with a great defensive play in left field. And for the first time in the series, the Adelitas have held the smoke scoreless. So Bryant with a really strong play in left. One of the few highlights for Hub City today, but they will take it. And we'll take this game into the 5th inning. 14-0 Smoke on top. The Texas Smoke 3 defensive outs away from the second straight run rule victory as the sun sets here in San Marcos, and it would be their 4th run rule victory over the last 6 games as well. This team is rolling right now. Since losing the finale against the Texas Monarchs on opening weekend, the Smoke have since rattled off 5 straight wins, about to be a 6th, on top 14-0 as we start the top of the 5th inning.
And we could wax poetic about the performance of the Smokes offense, and I know we've done a lot of that tonight, but what about Pease in the circle?
Yeah, Autumn Pease, 4 innings in the books for the Smoke, as that's fouled away by the pinch hitter up here for the Adelitas, Diana Vizcarra. So 4 innings, 8 strikeouts, no runs surrendered, just 3 hits given up by Pease.
And a big number, 0 walks. When you get a lead, if you're in the circle and your team, you're fortunate to have a lead, pound the strike zone. Make the other team earn everything and everything.
Vizcara takes a borderline pitch. 2 balls, 2 strikes. If the Adelitas don't score in this inning, not only will it officially extend the win streak for the Smoke to 6 in a row, during that streak they will have outscored the opposition by 45 runs, and they're strikeout number 9.
Pease continues to challenge the hitters. Not trying to be cute, not trying to be too fine, right? Attacking the strike zone.
Boy, again, you know, you struggle to find a headline, you know, for this game. Is it Pease's pitching? Has it been the offense? And the answer is yes.
All of the above.
Majo Gonzalez pinch hitting here with nobody on and 1 out. And Gonzalez takes ball 1. Player signed by the Adelitas a few weeks ago, June 17th. Played in the Mexican League back in the winter. She and 7 other Hub City Adelitas players doing so. Ground ball to the left side. Miller makes that throw. Long throw to first base. And this game is down to its final out.
Nice play by Miller there for a second. I thought she might have caused herself a problem by kind of staying back on that ball rather than attacking it, charging it, but all's well that ends well. And that was a really strong, accurate throw there to get the out. See a smile from Pease. She's had a lot to smile about tonight.
Nobody on, 2 away. And Justice Perry batting for the 2nd time. One of the 9 strikeout victims for Pease in this game. Takes strike 1 here. With 2 tough games for Hub City to open up the series, but a brand new day awaits tomorrow. Meanwhile, for the Smoke, through 2 games, they will have only used 2 pitchers, assuming Pease finishes this game off. Still have Estelle Check available, Jessica Mullins available for this team, Jayla Wrights, all of which have not thrown a pitch 2 games in. And Jordan Dale, who we haven't talked about a whole lot. So if, you know, games are more competitive and situations get dicey late in games tomorrow and Sunday, there's a lot of gas in the tank in that pitching staff.
And also those pitchers you just listed, just named, who don't need a lot of help, they can pick the brain of Shao and Pease. You know, how did you attack this hitter in a certain situation?
And Shao could easily pitch again. As could Pease, not overworked tonight either.
Yeah, I was going to say Pease, and then, yeah, Shao also.
And Perry down to her final strike. Pease hunting for her 10th of the game. Her 10th strikeout that is, as Perry fights off that 2-2 pitch. This will make the Smoke 9-1. Started to build a bigger and bigger lead over the Monarchs for first place. Coming into the game, a 3.5 game lead. And the Monarchs do not play tomorrow or Sunday. No opportunity to gain ground the rest of the weekend. 2-2. Pop up to the right side, handled by Jefferson. And for the 2nd straight game, the Texas Smoke have run ruled the Hub City Adelitas. Autumn Pease, all 5 innings, not giving up a run. Strikes out 9. The offense explosive. 14 runs scored, 10 of the 1st inning. So many players standout games today. But we give that nod to Janae Jefferson reaching base all 4 times, 3 for 3, 3 more runs batted in to include a 2-run inside the park homer for the former Texas Longhorn.
After the 11-0 victory last night for the Smoke, as you left the ballpark, one of the questions you had was, how did the Smoke top that? Well, for the past couple of hours tonight, I think we've seen how they could top that.
So today, Jefferson is our player of the game. She's had a remarkable series so far. 2 games into the series, Jefferson is a perfect 6 for 6. A couple of doubles, this inside the park home run, and 6 runs batted in. Tonight's player of the game as the Smoke win it by a final of 14-0. Looking forward to Game 3 of the series tomorrow.
Exactly right. High fives all around, smiles all around for the Smoke. And I think if you asked Janae Jefferson, and she'd be right, this wasn't a one-person effort. This was a team effort by the Smoke tonight. And we use the word momentum. That team right there, the Texas Smoke, a whole bunch of momentum going into tomorrow.
Well, that's going to wrap up our coverage of Game 2 of the series. So for Bill Colhane, I'm Brian Freeman saying so long from San Marcos, Texas. The final score in 5 innings, the Texas Smoke 14, Hub City Adelitas nothing. For more information on WPF, log on to WProFastPitch.com. This has been a presentation of WPF. Until next time, good night from Bobcat Softball Stadium.